Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here on Gamestah TV as we work through some of our technical issues and also a little bit of process issues as well. So we've had to get a couple of teams sorted and into the lobby with us. They had already started their match and we had to get them to exit their match because our rules clearly say if you've been identified to be broadcast, you've got to wait for us before you start. So apologies for the delays, but we are into the match right now. And to take you through the intro is none other than Bobby J. Bobby J, take it away.
Thank you very much, Crisis. We're back here with the Spring Series qualifiers here with round number 3 between Tainted Minds and Skyfire. The Skyfire on the blue, Tainted Minds on the red. We've got the rest of the panel here with me too. Here we go, just waiting for the last member there. Snowblind to round out the team there. We've got our 2 casters before we get into things. Our 2 casters will be Xenox and Gaimer. But before we go in, boys, let's talk about predictions this game. You first, Gaimer. Who do you predict between Skyfire and Tainted Minds? They both need a win here.
Yeah, it's really hard for me because I haven't seen that much of Tainted lately. But I have seen Skyfire. And just purely based off what I've seen when I have seen them, I've got to give it to Skyfire. But Tainted have a lot of good players, so I think this could go either way.
And then you now, Xenox?
I mean, I'm a little bit surprised right now that Skyfire hasn't won a game so far. So they're going to have to come out strong here. Tainted Minds, again, as Gaimer said, I haven't really seen a lot of, but they've got some really good players. This could go either way.
And you now, Gino?
All these fence sitters. I'm thinking Skyfire is going to take it this one. Yeah, they've been really strong lately. You know, they've been screwing a ton, whereas I can't remember what the reason is, but yeah, Tainted Minds have been taking a break or something like that, I think, until these next few big seasons come through. So yeah, good to see them back in the mix, and I think they'll be a bit rusty.
Before we throw it over to the casters, you, All G, what do you predict between these 2 teams? We've seen some of these players a bit before as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with the boys a little bit. I haven't really seen that much of both these teams in the rosters that they have currently. So, but we have seen a lot of the individual players on these teams play before, and we know that there's a lot of talent on both these teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come up against each other, especially on a map like Kings Row, which is very familiar around the scene. And yeah, it's going to be great, and we'll see how the guys turn out.
Well, we're going to get things underway here in round number 3 here on Kings Row between the Tainted Minds and Skyfire. Your casters here for this game are Xenox and Gaimer. Take it away, Xenox.
Well, we are into round 3 of the Gamestah Spring Series, Gaimer. A couple of interesting results so far. Obviously, Skyfire, they're 0-2. Tainted Minds, they've only won the 1 game. It could go either way, but who would you think, obviously on this map, before today would have won? Because I think it would have been Skyfire, but after their showings today, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially losing to Boonsted Animals, who, as far as I'm aware, have not been a team for a while if they were a team even before they signed up to this. So for them to lose to that shows that maybe there's some weaknesses in their play today, having lost Soch to, I think it was Hot Dog Heroes, now having Twiggy in. So that kind of ruins some of the synergy advantage which Skyfire would have had otherwise. You know, changing up a tank, you need your tanks to be in sync with the rest of the team, otherwise you get picked off a lot more. So that could really hurt them, and we have seen Tainted Minds. They won 1 and lost 1. I don't think we can really read too much into that because they lost to who I'd expect them to lose, and they won to who I expected them to win against. But they do have strong players. We remember Snowblind from early was a strong DPS player, and I think this really can go either way. Before this, I would have expected it to easily be Skyfire, but after they've lost twice and without Soch, maybe this is what Tainted Minds need.
Maybe it is. Tainted Minds will be attacking here as the red team, and it will be Skyfire defending with a pretty standard team composition, as it's going to be the Winston jumping straight into that backline, forcing them into the hotel room. Immediately, CKM got stunned by Snowblind, but he was able to wraith away, and it's going to be Twiggy charging in. Soundwaves goes down rather early, but Buggerlugs was able to take down D-Field. The Genji is down as Channy takes down CKM, so a couple of the DPS going down. Render, oh my goodness, it's going to be 4 versus 3, all going down at the moment. Mungo taking down Render. Twiggy trying to charge around, but he couldn't get anyone. He's playing himself on this point at the moment, and geez, that was extremely quick and very chaotic. but they got the point rather early. Tainted Minds.
Yeah, chaotic indeed, and I think potentially that's kind of showing the lack of synergy both teams are having, because they're not having these really clean fight wins. The players were just trading back 1-1, almost like this was team deathmatch, and you really want to be changing that in these harder, tight matches. And so I do like the Pharah change out coming from CKM though. Allows some nice spam in the nice tight corridors of the Streets phase. And with the Mercy, we talked about the Mercy being strong, it could be a nice little pick.
Yeah, the Pharah pick's actually rather interesting considering the fact that they've actually got the McCree and they've got the Zenyatta, as it's going to be a team fight here in the main corridor. Twiggy gets the double kill onto Snowblind and Channy. Can he get any more kills? Mungo goes down as well, so Twiggy absolutely doing work there on that Reinhardt, forcing the issue and getting his team back into this game.
Yeah, and you talked about the McCree, and that's exactly what killed CKM's Pharah. The thing is that CKM had already outputted so much damage before he died that it was an easy fight for Skyfire to take. And if they can continue to do that, just stay alive long enough to get the advantage, even if they die, then they're in a good spot.
Oh, here comes the Graviton Surge, immediately countered though by the Tranquility. Taken, trying to get some damage in there as well. As Soundwaves takes down Defield, he goes down again. And the Graviton Surge coming out now from Tainted Minds. Can they get some damage? The Earthshatter's going to get stopped by the Shield of Noid. But Snowblind, he gets a triple kill, taking down CKM once again. He finishes off Soundwaves, but the revive, it comes out immediately from Buggerlugs. Can they turn this one around? Twiggy, yes, he takes down Zero. Can render, he does. He takes down Snowblind, and it looks like they're going to clean up thanks to that revive. Nicely executed there by Buggerlugs to save his team.
Yeah, really good job by Buggerlugs staying alive. And potentially the lack of experience for Tainted Minds recently when Mercy has been starting to come back in. Maybe they're not used to hunting that Mercy again, because Mercy did leave the meta for quite a while, and you almost have to change your complete playstyle whenever Mercy's in the meta. Find the Mercy, kill the Mercy, and keep your Mercy alive. And
immediately, Defield's going straight in with the Dragon Blade, but CKM with a triple kill up in the air thanks to the boost from Buggerlugs. Defield taking down Soundwaves. They're absolutely stopping them in this chokehold right now, and there's nothing Tainted Minds can really do about it. They just don't know really what to do.
Yeah, and that was such a powerful combo. We saw that actually last map in Jam versus Kick or Be Kicked, where we saw the exact same combo just completely wipe a team. There's nothing you can do to counter it except for kill that Pharah, because Transcendence, Rocket Barrage beats, Beat Drop it also beats, so unless you resurrect or kill the Pharah, you're going to get wiped there.
They've actually gone for a Mercy now instead of the Zenyatta, maybe to try and look for that revive to counter, I guess, Buggerlugs' revive and try and have that even balance, just in case they do get that team wipe again. Don't generally see the Mercy though on the attacking team, but they're running out of ideas. They've got to try something a bit different. Also now Defield on the Pharah, so we're going to see a bit of pharmacy battle from both sides.
Yeah, and the risk with switching to that Mercy is no longer do you have a Discord to take down the Pharah. Neither side now does. So it's all about which Pharah gets more done.
Oh, Defield taking down CKM. That's a nice pick off. The Earthshatter coming out though. Is it going to try and get anyone? I think it missed everyone though. As Mungo took down Twiggy. Is the revive going to come out from Buggerlugs? There it is. Rena takes down Channy. It's going to be a high noon in the backline, but Snowblind goes down immediately to Soundwaves as Defield takes down Taken, but it's a lost cause as CKM gets the double kill and they clean up once again.
Yeah, and just like last time, Buggerlugs has the res, survives, gets the res, and Channy hadn't quite charged it before he died. And you need to be finding Buggerlugs. If I were Tainted Minds right here, I would even consider switching to a Tracer just to hunt down that Mercy, because you cannot afford to leave it alive. You will lose fights, and that's what's happening. And it charges so quickly. Buggerlugs is already halfway to another res, and if they can charge it that fast, it's going to be coming up every fight, and you have to be hunting.
Well, it's funny how things can change so quickly. They started really well. They got that first point, but now they're in a bit of a bad position. CKM, Soundwaves completely obliterate Tainted Minds. Channy's got to revive, but he's not going to be able to get anyone. They're just going to have to respawn there. Obviously, that was well executed. And as I was saying before that happened, obviously, things started really well for Tainted Minds. They got that first point extremely quickly. But since then, they've just been stuck. They're like they're stuck in a rock between a hard place.
Yeah, and I think part of that has been Skyfire getting their coordination just a bit higher.
Oh, here we go, trying to get the stun onto Twiggy. He did get it, the Graviton Surge coming out. Oh, charging both ways. Noid, he takes down Twiggy. Got to be careful of Buggerlugs though. He's got that revive once again. Could this happen a third time? Yes, it does. There's the revive, breaking it down to 0 on that Lucio. D-Field taking down Soundwaves. He didn't get revived, and now they're going to have a little bit of a chance here, Tainted Minds. So Taken, he pops his sound barrier. D-Field popped the barrage, but went down immediately to Render. Twiggy taking down Mungo, and it's just once again Skyfire absolutely obliterating Tainted Minds in this positional chokehold. 30 seconds to go, I just can't see them getting through.
Yeah, though Channy does still have their resurrection, so if they can do maybe a nice Earth Shatter High Noon combination, and there's not too many defensive ultimates available, but we're not far off another Rocket Barrage Graviton combo, and if that happens again, this attack will be over for Tainted.
We've got 3 ultimates at the moment. Tainted Minds, there's one of them. The Earth Shatter coming out, but it didn't get anyone. D-Field taking down CKM. High Noon couldn't get anyone as Twiggy gets a double kill in the back line, trying to take down some damage DPS people, but with 3 seconds left, that's it. No one's on it. And round 1 will go at this stage 71 meters after that first point.
Yeah, I have to give props to Skyfire there, because in that first point, they didn't look that tight as a team. But coming into that streets phase, they just used ults really well, just using exactly what they needed. And Buggerlug's doing a really nice job of hiding. Buggerlug's, I believe, has played a lot of Mercy, though he's played a lot of other supports as well. So a good job there. I'm interested to see if on the defense we see the same thing happen on the other side, because maybe it's just a case of that part of the map being so choky that Farah can just do too much work for the defensive side.
Yeah, it's really interesting though, because I felt, you know, after that first point, Tainted Minds did so well, they forced Skyfire into that hotel. The second that Skyfire came out of that hotel, they scattered, and then they just started going down like flies. And they looked like they really had that control and organization, as Skyfire looked like they didn't. They looked like after that push through the hotel, they didn't know really what to do. And then they just sort of regrouped. They sort of died and said, hey guys, look, we got to just do this well, and we'll win. And they looked like they calmed down a little bit and went back to their old ways of being that coordinated group that we know that they can be. And the fact that they're 0-2 right now, obviously in the standings, they're going to want to get this win. And maybe just a little flick sort of switched on and said, we've got to really perform here. Otherwise, this could be 0-3.
Yeah, completely. And to be honest, without Buggerlug's resurrections, I don't think Skyfire would have held that. But it was a really smart move, changing him back. But now for this attack, they're not going to have a Mercy. They're not going to have the resurrections. So the question is, can they win a fight without it?
I think they can. Look, obviously they have to be a little bit more aggressive here, because if they don't have that damage and they get overrolled by the Winston that we've got seen here by Twiggy, they're going to go down rather quick regardless. And the Mercy Revive takes such a long charge now compared to what it used to. So they probably don't want to risk that very initial first push as Channy takes down Taken. That's what they want. Immediately there's Zenyatta coming out handy. He gets the double kill. Channy, well, we don't need a Mercy when you got Channy on that Zenyatta. D-Field taking out Sandwich, and that first push, well, it was hardly even a push. They just sort of walked in and died.
Yeah, really nice job coming out from Channy. Clearly a good Zenyatta. And maybe Tainted are just better on this first point than Skyfire are. We saw them be stronger in their attack, now they're stronger in their defense. Skyfire has to respond, because if they don't cap first, they're not going to win this map.
Yeah, well, with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left, they got a little bit of time as D-Field had to wraith away from that bad position. CKM onto that Genji, he's always going to be deadly. Can he get into that back line? But Twiggy goes down immediately. Mungo now gets the double kill. It's almost like they're taking turns. Who's going to get the kills this push? 3 minutes to go, and it's going to be surely another wipe coming the way of Skyfire. They're going to have to go back to spawn and try again.
Yeah, and the ultimates are starting to become available for Tainted. They have already the High Noon, and soon to be the Transcendence. That Transcendence could really do a lot of work. Soundwave soon to have the High Noon though as well, so maybe making good use of those High Noons will be the decider of the next fight.
Let's get you healed up.
So Snowblind has got, well, in fact, both McChris have their High Noons up, so we could see a bit of a battle in the west. There comes the first one coming out from Snowblind. I don't think he's going to be able to get anyone. In fact, I think he got reflected by CKM, so that is incredible. Either he reflected it or killed him while he was up there. D-Field, though, did get a double kill while that was happening. And of course, the Tranquility coming out to stop that Dragon Blade. D-Field popping. Death Blossom gets the double kill onto Taken and CKM. And it's going to be another team kill for Tainted Minds. 2 minutes to go. And now, now things are starting to get a little bit hairy for Team Skyfire.
Yeah, the pressure's really on them now, though they do still have Soundwave's High Noon, and they're soon to have Graviton and Transcendence, both of which will be key. But in that fight, D-Field was just looking so strong. Even though Snowblind fell early, D-Field was already killing him.
Coming through the hotel room as well. The Earthshatter comes out. D-Field taking down Soundwaves as he was trying to get off that high noon. In the back line though, CKM taking down Channy. Buggerlug taking down D-Field. This is finally looking like Skyfire have turned things around a little bit. It's going to be the Graviton Search immediately countered by Buggerlugs on that Zenyatta, popping the Transcendence. In the back line though, Noid, he goes down to CKM. It's finally Gaimer. Skyfire with a minute 20 to go, looking like they're going to cap this point.
Yeah, and they really needed that cap, but now they do have an ultimate advantage, and so I highly doubt
they're not giving it up just yet. The Graviton Surge having to come out. Reindeer taking down Channy. In fact, this could be really bad for Tainted Minds because they're going to get the long spawn now. So maybe that wasn't worth it. Maybe they should have just set up where the chokehold was, obviously the last round when they were trying to attack it, and now they're going to have to walk a long way back.
And the only benefit to what they just did is they did bait out a few ultimates. They did get rid of that Graviton. And that means that the Graviton Dragon Blade combo will not be available. But they really don't have to push the cut that far. 70 meters is not a long way. In fact, it's only about halfway to that second checkpoint. So I don't think that Skyfire's going to need too much.
Well, they're going to have to be really aggressive here. The Earthshatter's going to get stopped by Twiggy's shield, but it did take down Taken as Channy's got a rather early Tranquility. Mungo taking down CKM. In that back line, but I mean, that's a good win, I guess, for Tainted Minds, but geez, they've popped a few ultimates.
Yeah, and they are now coming into an ultimate disadvantage from an ultimate advantage, though they are soon to be back into an advantage. So 3 ults apiece coming into the next fight, but on the attack, I think you don't need quite as many ultimates as if you can just get some picks.
DKM pops the Dragon Blade in the back line. He takes down Channy immediately. Tranquility coming out from Buggerlug says Twiggy took down Zero. Oh, Snowblind gets a double kill with the high noon from up top. He then jumps down. He's looking for some more kills. The Graviton Surge coming out as Twiggy pops the Earthshatter, taking down Snowblind on that disadvantage though is D-Field. He gets the triple kill. He cleans them up, and with 2 minutes to go, again, they're back in it.
Yeah, that was actually quite a bad chat. Because what it did is it now means that there's no ultimates available for Skyfire. And they want to be winning these fights. And it's just not reliable without ultimates. Noyed will soon have that Earthshatter. If he can get good Earthshatters, he can just continue to lay them. 2 minutes isn't the longest time. Yes, they don't have to push that far, but they've got to win a fight first.
Yeah, that Earthshatter will come up obviously first. It's pretty vital. If they can take him down early though, they won't have that Earthshatter. Snowblind took down CKM really quickly. I don't know how he managed to pull that one off, but he did it. Soundwaves taking down Deviate. Oh, now Twiggy takes down Channy. Taken. Oh my goodness, the kills are coming out. I think Skyfire is going to get the point here. On the point at the moment is Mungo and Zero by themselves. Mungo goes down, Zero by himself, trying to stay alive, but Skyfire is going to capture this first point, and they're going to take round 3, and they get a win.
Yeah, really nice out of Skyfire. Potentially Noyed really overextended. We found him in the back line rather than protecting his team, and without protecting your team, they kind of just got cut down pretty quickly. But really nice coming out of Skyfire. They get their first win of the day, and they're going to need that win if they want to be qualifying.
Buggerlugs with these Mercy Revives. I think we've all seen enough of Mercy Revives in the past couple of weeks, but these were pretty vital and definitely probably were the play of the games. We said at the start, Guy, that this could go either way, and it really came down to that in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was really close. There were points definitely where I doubted either team could win, as you probably heard from me, seeming like I was switching sides all the time. But really nice. I'd like to give huge props to Buggerlugs. He saved his team, I would say. Without his resurrections, I don't think Skyfire would have won that.
Yeah, and we'll throw it back to Bobby J. Bobby, what did you think of that game?
Oh, it was very exciting. Good to see Skyfire, the new breed the new blood coming through, showing the old dogs, Tainted Minds, where the meta's at right now. So the Tainted Minds still veterans of the scene, so I still expect them to come back. They're on board for tomorrow as well, so they're definitely not out of the race for their chances to getting into Division 1 Xenox.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, we had some issues, but in the end, we had a really good game. Very close game, as I mentioned at the beginning. You probably couldn't have split it, and there were probably points from either side within that game where they could have done better, or they did really bad on their own part. I know that very first push, that Tainted Minds, when they pushed the very first point, they got it so quick. was due to the fact that Skyfire went through the hotel as a group, and then they just came out as scattered. They completely threw that point away. So then obviously they came back and held that choke point really well.
And what about you, Genome? You've been watching on in that game. What did you think, mate?
Yeah, I haven't got this sound on at the stream at the moment, but I'm assuming Crisis was playing the Benny Hill music when Tainted Minds did that first attack, because they came onto the Skyfire. No, sorry, Tainted Minds came onto the point, and the Skyfire, yeah, they ran into the hotel and just kept doing. They were playing Ring Around the Rosie there, and it didn't work at all. Mungo ended up with 100% charge, and when you've got a 3v3 situation like that, where there's not too many players, a 100% charge Zarya absolutely destroys you. But yeah, I think the MVP for that game was absolutely Buggerlugs from Skyfire. Those Mercy Reses kept them alive time and time again on their defense. And also when they were having trouble cracking that attack, his Transcendence to keep them alive during the Graviton Surge was also so key. So really well played to Buggerlugs there. Tainted Minds just had to hold forward in a really awkward position on that second point. Because of where they pushed the cart to, and just couldn't make it in the end. Well played, Skyfire.
And then you, OG, did you watch the game, mate? Like, what did you think of it?
Oh, I watched the game, mate. Don't worry. I was here watching the game. I was just twiddling my thumbs. I was having to watch as well. A lot has already been said that can't really have been said again. But yeah, Buggerlug's really impactful that game. Multiple times where they looked dead and buried, and he'd come from around the corner and Mercy Res, and we're back into this meta now where the Mercy Res really can reset those huge sort of Wombo combo team comps. So great play by Buggerlugs, and CKM as well on the Pharah when getting all the damage down on top of them in that choke position. I think Skyfire actually played that choke point perfectly. Tainted Minds, they were a little bit unlucky to not sort of hold on for as long as they could. On the first point, I think they were actually doing really, really well. I was very impressed with D-Field's Reaper getting into very good flanking positions and just picking off the key targets. And I actually thought they were going to be able to hold that for quite some time, but it was just due to the Winston ult, the Primal Rage coming in, just disrupting them a little bit, and they just weren't able to hold it. So, unfortunately, by Tainted Minds, really well played. I was impressed by Snowblind's defensive flashbangs as well on McCree. A lot of that was coming down. So, I like it for Tainted Minds, but yeah, a very good game from both teams.
And I heard Crisis clicking there. Did you want to say anything, Crisis, before we throw to the break?
Yeah, I think I should probably just respond to what's happening in Twitch chat at the moment, just regarding the decision to stop the Skyfire versus Tainted Minds game that had started before and have them remake. So our rules do very clearly state that if your match has been identified as the one to be streamed, you're not to start until we give you the go-ahead. And unfortunately, even though the teams had been informed that they were going to be streamed, they started their match. So the admin's decision, and I, obviously I'm with Gamestah, and I'm one of the admins, so I think it was the correct decision, was to say, hang on guys, you were not supposed to start without us, you're going to have to remake. So that has obviously upset a lot of the fans and players in Tainted Minds, because they feel they were doing quite strongly in the match that had started and that had to be remade. Now, be that as it may, whether it was a good or a bad decision, we made the decision based on what the rules were, and we will take it on the chin that we need to improve our communication, because what seems to have happened is that the teams didn't see that their match had been identified for streaming. So we'll make sure that we improve our communication in Discord to say, hey, this is the match that's going to be covered, and make sure that you do not start it. And just to clue you into the reasoning behind it, and why we have that rule in and why we took the admin decision, it's really because for support for the growth of esports in the region, we know that we have to be able to put on a good show for audiences and a good show for our sponsors, and the only way that we can do that is to select the best games that we can to be on stream and make sure that they are getting streamed. And we had chosen Skyfire versus Tainted Minds as the best game of that particular round, to have it on stream. Now, granted, we haven't announced our sponsors just yet, but we do want to get things into place and get the processes right so that when our sponsors have signed on the dotted line, we know that they're going to be represented as best they can. So we'll take it on the chin. It was not an ideal way for this round to go, and we do apologize to both of the teams that our communication wasn't as clear as it could have been. We'll hopefully be able to move on. We know that Skyfire and Tainted Minds are both professional outfits, and so we hope that, well, they continue to support Gamestah tournaments. Come on in, and here we go. Shout out especially to Chapos. He is one of our subscribers, and he's had a lot to say about it, and we understand, mate, it hasn't gone the way that you wanted it to, but hopefully we can fix those sorts of things up. Well, we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. You won't have to listen to me droning on. We'll be right back with round number 4 of the Spring Series qualifiers.